Hey, Screamers! Welcome to episode number 16, which is going to be a short episode tonight, but we wanted to let you know we're back at Camp Beausite, which is the same place we filmed the original episode number 1, where we talked about Friday the 13th. So cheers,
a year ago.
1 year ago, we.
I have to show off my iced coffee cup.
Yes, we Sherry Layton, our friend who does amazing work with her cricket and sublimation, made Mary a Screams and Beans iced coffee mug because that's her jam.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking a hot decaf coffee tonight because it's Sunday night of retreat and we're packing up and heading home tomorrow, so we don't want to be up till like 5 a.m.
I have to go to work tomorrow from retreat. I can't go shopping for any of my clients because my car is full.
So I'm pretty proud of us. We've done 16 episodes in a year, so that's more than one a month, people. So yay for us.
Yeah, our first one with all the paranormals.
Oh, that's true. We did that's true. Like I guess you could count series number 2. We did 6 videos in one day. Early on, we weren't quite sure how to cover those movies. So
we're learning.
So we're at the fireplace inside the main room where we're all having our retreat and making scrapbooks and cards and art projects and all kinds of fun stuff. And my niece Ariel Clement is here, so
happy almost birthday, Ariel.
It's her birthday month, so I made chocolate cupcakes and we've been snacking on really good food all weekend.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, Lonnie does an amazing job. So
yeah.
Happy retreating to us, and thank you for hanging in there with us for a whole year. I can't believe it. It's been that long.
We were out here, when we were going to come to retreat, I was like, oh, we should do Screams and Beans since it's our original place. And then I was like, wait, that was like a year ago. Shoot.
Right? Yeah.
It's gone by so fast.
It has gone by fast. And I think we've covered a good fair number of movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So quite the genres of everything.
Mm-hmm. And definitely in the scary horror movie genre for where we wanted to be. And so I want to do a full episode. So our next episode, number 17, will actually be what I had intended to do tonight, but we're kind of out of time. And there's a lot to cover. So what I picked out to cover was Ed and Lorraine Warren, the paranormal investigators that most people in the horror genre know about. They had some famous cases that were made public that they themselves spoke about in public, and had different authors wrote various books and they contributed to some. And I don't want to portray us as giving an opinion as to whether or not we think everything's true. We're just entertained by the stories that they told and the movies that were made. So what we focused on was the first 2 Conjuring movies, Conjuring and Conjuring 2.
Fantastic.
And that focused on the Perron family and the Conjuring and their house in Rhode Island. And then Conjuring 2 focused on the Hodgson family in Enfield, England, in London. And then the Amityville Horror, which focused on the DeFeo family, where the Ronnie DeFeo committed the murders of his family, and then the Lutz family who moved into that house after the DeFeos. And then the last one was talking about Annabelle the doll. So there's a whole series of Annabelle movies. It's kind of a spin-off in the Conjuring universe, and I brought up the initial Annabelle.
Right.
I mean, we could talk about Annabelle, but I brought up what I found online to be part of the Annabelle story, and then the first movie. So if you want to be more prepared for episode 17 and you want to go watch some of those movies, the original Amityville Horror with James Brolin is really good and a little hokey because, it's like in the 80s.
Yeah.
And however, the remake, I thought, with Ryan Reynolds was pretty well done.
I really liked the Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it almost seemed a little more believable in a way.
Yes.
And then there was another story, The Haunted, which was a made-for-TV movie about the Smurl family haunting. So there's 4 or 5 movies here that we've run off, and so if you want to go watch those movies and be ready for our next episode we're going to do next month, that would be great. Otherwise, I do have a few posts that I made in our Instagram page, which I started under my own Instagram. I just started a second page for Screams and Beans, so you can find us there on Instagram. Instagram, I learned, doesn't let me post a video link to like another YouTube video because I thought, I'll just post like the Ed and Lorraine Warren interviews and some other things that I found in the Scream
and it doesn't let you?
and Instagram, and it doesn't. So I do have, there's some other posted videos in our Screams and Beans YouTube page that have some of the interviews with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and there's also a couple of videos on debunking. There's a whole world of debunking what the Warrens
It's
claim
hard.
were
It's
true.
so hard to believe.
You kind of have to make up your own mind. I'm not going to try to persuade you one way or the other. I can tell you what I think for me personally,
right? And we will.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But so anyway, just so you're prepared for our next episode, we just wanted to make sure we captured us here at retreat 1 year later with that we've been doing this like a whole year, and we've been having fun getting together, watching movies. Mostly we've been watching them at Mary's house because her dog Chewy snuggles up to me, and I'm like constantly petting her while we're watching the scary movie, and it's so comforting.
Chewy likes to snuggle with Phaedra.
Yes,
she paws.
Yeah, like, if I like stop and I just go like this, it's automatic. Like
Instant.
I can't. And sometimes it's like kind of hard on my leg. Like, woman,
or
touch me.
Or all of a sudden she gets her face up there and you're like,
it's funny. Yeah.
Man. She's a good dog.
But she's such a good dog, and she's my snuggle bunny. So if I'm kind of scared, it's nice to have Chewy.
She'll sit there and watch it with us.
It's her couch is really comfortable. I can spread my feet out. I got pillows. Like, it's awesome.
In the dark.
Yeah,
Actually, the house is pretty dark, so
yeah.
I like to watch the TV shows and the movies with no lights on. And my husband will come up and he's like, "It's dark." I'm like, "Yeah." You want me to turn the light on? No, I'm perfectly fine watching it in the dark. He's like, "Okay," and then he just kind of walks away.
Isn't that how you're best supposed to watch?
Yeah, I always watch. I have to turn the lights on. I don't ever turn the lights on.
And she makes really good popcorn too.
Oh, I know.
Really
we just got new popcorn too.
Ooh,
so
yum! I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was I'm going to do a second little video, and retreaters here in our space who want to share something creepy, strange, paranormal, whatever that they've come across in life that they feel like sharing, we're going to let you guys meet them and they can share their story. I have a couple of creepy stories myself. You have a creepy story. So one of mine was, I was a seasonal employee for the National Park Service years and years ago, Crater Lake National Park. And I was staying, my room, I was working for the fire crew, but my room was in an old superintendent's house. And it was kind of up on this little hill behind the admin area, historic structure, full of mice, by the way. Like, we would set traps upstairs, go downstairs, and within like 20 minutes, we'd hear like pop, pop, pop.
Ugh,
like it was,
gross.
yeah, it was kind of gross. However, I was home by myself one afternoon. I think I must have came home for lunch to grab something, and I was in the upstairs floor, and there were no windows open upstairs. And it was summertime, and sometimes we would have the windows open, but nobody was home. So all the windows were closed, and there were like 3 or 4 doors in the hallway. And all the doors, I walked upstairs, and I was partway down the hallway, and all the doors shut at the same time, really hard. And I just stood there for a second, and I went, nope. I turned around, I went back downstairs.
Did you watch them close or just hear them close?
I saw every single door closed in front of me at the same time. Now, I told Dave this, and of course, Mr. Skeptic was like, oh, there had to have been a window open. It was a breeze or a vacuum or whatever. I'm like,
even if there was a breeze, how would you coordinate
all the
close
doors
at once?
And like, I think there were 4 doors total, because there was 2 spare bedrooms, a closet, or not a closet, 2, a bathroom door, 3 bedroom doors, and a bathroom door, and they all closed.
Yeah,
at the same
there's no
time.
way.
I mean, I think pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And then there was another time when my best friend and I were little, and we were riding our banana seat bikes, and we used to ride. Right?
It was yellow.
We used to ride around the block, and we were riding around the block, and all of a sudden we like came this way, and we looked the street down, and there was this guy just like standing straight, staring at us.
Like
just,
Michael Myers?
Yeah. I mean, no mask, but just a guy like standing. Not moving, just standing there. And we like had stopped and we were looking at him. And we're like, yeah, we're not going to go that way. So we go this way, right? On our bikes. We're like pedaling on our bikes. And we get to the other street on the other side to go that way. he was standing on the other corner.
What?
And we did this twice, and he was there each time, and we finally just went home because we were like, that's just too weird.
Oh yeah, no thanks.
And yeah, so that was
no.
that was like creepy factor. Like who? I'm
really
questioning
creepy.
now. Like I mean, we couldn't have both been hallucinating the same thing.
Oh God, no.
And I think if I asked her, she would remember. And
that'd be interesting.
I should ask her. We're still in touch. She lives in Idaho now. And but I'm pretty sure, I mean, we both saw the same thing because we were like, no, we're not going to go that way, let's go this way. And then we go this way and he's there. Okay, let's go back this way, and he's
like
there.
how would he have got there that fast?
Exactly, because we're pedaling. I mean, unless this guy was an Olympic sprinter and he didn't
you
look
would
like
think
an
you'd see him too.
I
like,
mean, it was weird.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
like my creep stories.
geez.
Like 2 that I remember like distinctly.
So my dad lives in the house that my great grandma, so I guess it'd be his grandma, so my great grandma lived in, and her husband had actually died in the house. And so when Granny got, when she got frail, you know, we moved her into a home, Dad took over the house. The house was built in between 20s and 40s.
Okay.
Like when we remodeled, like Dad would remodel, he'd find like the newspapers and old bottles and stuff like that under the house. I mean, it was really cool. So the house is really old. I mean, it's really an old house. So my bedroom was actually the bedroom that Grandpa had died in, but I didn't know that because Granny lived in a different room.
Okay.
So I always thought that was her bedroom. I didn't know this, and this was always the spare room that us kids would play in and stuff. I didn't realize it was the original bedroom.
Okay.
So one night, there's 4 of us kids, and one night we were in the living room, and we were gonna just have a sleepover on the floors and stuff, and I wanted the couch, and my sister was being a brat and took the couch.
Well, one of those.
And I'm like, I'm not sleeping on the floor. I'm older, you know, as us kids do. And so I went to my bedroom, and so in my bedroom, I just had a little twin bed, and I had a dresser, and then this old wicker chair, like from the 70s, that high back wicker chair, and the little cushion, and it was all my stuffed animals sat in it. I never sat in it. But when you sit in it, it's a very distinct noise.
I've been in those chairs at other people's houses. Like I remember
They're
that big
it's
thing
loud.
in the 70s and 80s. They creak. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
it's
how
like-
much you weigh. They just creak.
It's not wood.
And like
it's
kind
like
of
a-
popped and creaked
Yeah.
at the same time.
So it's you know, so I'm in bed and I hear something sit in the chair. I mean, it's that you know, crease. So we have a big cat, and I was like, oh shit, Fiona got in my room, and you know, I gotta get her out because she'll pee in my room if I leave her in there. So I get up, open the door, and I'm like, get out, Fiona. There's no Fiona. I'm like, what the hell? And then I hear something sit back up. Like they got up, and I was like, nope, I'm sleeping on the floor now.
Grab my blanket and run.
I still lived in the room, but that was the only. But the next day, I told my daddy to take the chair out, and we got rid of the chair out of my room.
And did you have any other experience?
So in the house, the cupboards, we would all come home, and like some of the cupboards would be wide open, the drawers would be pulled out, but nobody would confess to doing it. But when we never actually saw it, we would just come home, and all of a sudden,
and people were like, "No, I didn't do that." I didn't
or
do
Mom
that.
would yell at us, "Why'd you leave the cupboard open?" I'm like, "I didn't even open the cupboard today." And so she came home one time. She said she came home one time, and she went to the room. She went to her bedroom because there was a back bedroom, and she come out and every single door, cupboard doors, all of them were open.
Oh my God, that reminds me of Paranormal Activity.
And that's what it was.
And
But she never heard anything.
So she
never
wasn't
nothing.
home when it happened. She
No,
just
she
came home?
was home.
Oh.
She was home. She just went to her bedroom.
Okay.
Because you go through the front door, and then you go through the kitchen, and then
So it wasn't like a loud noise. She just came back.
she just
down.
came back out. She came out from her room, and they were all open, and she just closed everything.
See,
up.
that's just weird.
How did you not?
How
And
do you
these drawers,
explain that?
these drawers are the old ones, so they creak when you pull them out. So it's not like they're quiet drawers.
Right.
Just for her not to hear anything was weird.
So what gets me about that is like, as a ghost, you have to have energy, right?
Yeah.
Amount of energy to make that happen. Like, where is he getting
But
that
to me,
from?
it's like, but why? Like you're like,
Was
oh,
he a
my goal is to open this drawer.
Was your grandpa a prankster?
I have no clue. He died way before I was. I don't remember him. I have no memories of him.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I mean, your
what
mom was a prankster, even though I know we talked about that. She thought she was.
Yeah, but no.
But I'm wondering, like, if she got that from him.
I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know when he died.
I mean, you can't ask her now, but.
Yeah, she's dead too.
But I wonder if, like, anybody in your family
I'm gonna have
would
to ask.
remember. If your brother would remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember when Grandpa died. I don't ever remember meeting him. So he might have been dead before I even see him.
I think my husband, he only met his grandparents like maybe once or twice before they passed.
Yeah, so this is great grandparents.
Okay.
So I'm Howard was his name. So so I'm not sure, but and I don't think anybody else had ever heard or an experience, or they wouldn't cop to it, you know.
Right.
But that was we grew up in a haunted house. It's still, and my dad's still there. My dad's still there.
Does he ever talk about experiences?
No, he says that he just every time he remodels though, I feel like something's gonna happen, but he would never say anything. Okay. He's not the type
to say like I was doing this and this happened.
Yeah, I think he said sometimes he hears knocking, you know, because you'll be like, you know, who's there kind of thing, or come in, or
he's never heard a voice.
No, none of us have ever heard voices or whispers or just weird noises.
Tell him not to play with the Ouija board in that house.
My dad's a hippie, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did that.
No, that's bad juju.
As far as I know, we've never had one in the house. We weren't allowed to have one as a kid because my mom was terrified of them. Because I think she played with one when she was a teenager.
So did my mom, and had a bad experience and was like,
she never talked about it, but we assumed something, you know.
It was within the last, and I won't tell any mom, but it was within the last couple of years that mom and I were talking, and I asked her about it, and she finally told me a little bit about it that she wouldn't have before. Yeah. But I know that that's something with what she experienced. I'm like, okay, I'm just not even. I would never mess with it. Like, whether or not I really believe like there's a door to another dimension that things are coming in.
Why try?
Why even push the envelope?
Yeah,
like,
so
I won't even say Bloody Mary 3 times.
I've done that. That's never happened. Because I'm married, so of course I'm going to try it.
But it's not you that you're conjuring.
But nothing happened. Nothing happened on that. So I can attest to that.
Dave did that. I told him that one time, like, I won't say it. And he walked into the bathroom and said it 3 times in front of the mirror. And I'm like, I mean, nothing happened. But I mean, I just was freaking out.
We watched Candyman. And Candyman's the same thing when you weren't allowed to. And we wouldn't do that.
I won't.
Because Candyman scared me.
Right?
But Bloody Mary didn't.
We should talk about it. Yeah.
Bloody Mary didn't scare me.
That's funny.
But the Candyman
I did like the Supernatural TV series episode of Bloody Mary.
Yes.
I thought that was a good episode.
Yeah, but not that ever happened. But we weren't, as kids, I never went to anybody's house that played with the Ouija board or anything like that. So it's never even been an option. I never did like tarot cards because those kind of could be weird too, and predict the future. And Murphy is my relative already, and he likes to mess with me, so I don't really feel like I need to add.
You encourage chaos in your life.
Murphy's Law is definitely my relative, because if it's going to go wrong, it usually does, and it's never like an easy, like, oh man, that sucks. It's like, oh man, why'd you do that? So Murphy's not my friend.
So cheers to us for 1 year, and next time we'll be talking about the Ed and Lorraine Warren cases. So if you've got any creepy stories you want to share in the chat or share in the Instagram page, please do so. I do read the comments and try to reply. I mean, we don't have a ton of subscribers. I think we're up to 20 subscribers now, so thank you, everybody. I'm not like out there trying to gain subscribership, but it's just fun to know there's some people out there watching.
We have a lot of fun doing this.
And mostly it's our friends and family, and hey, that's all we need.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cut the video off now, and then I'll open it up for discussion with any of our crafty mates here at Retreat to see if they want to share any of their stories. Love you guys.
Bye.
Till next time.